a nice hot cup of tea, and the Queen herself from England. It is
Forged Force Gaming, Ceonsamea.
And we got some craziness we're dealing with, so we're going to get right into it. In the bottom left, his opponent, of course, notorious for this nonsense. It is your purple Terran player. Lagging
All
out.
inspiration, Canary.
Okay. So we had a really early Reaper from Canary, and of course he sacrificed some stuff to do that, and now he's building a bunker in his main. I think he kind of spotted Ceonsamea's Reapers, so we're seeing Reaper versus Reaper here. 2 Reapers for Ceonsamea at a time to Canary's 1, but Canary's got a siege tank, or rather a factory on the way, and Ceonsamea, of course, just built the second command center.
Yeah, this is getting really weird. I was talking a little to Ceon beforehand. He said he likes to play slightly off meta styles. What?
Look at how much scouting he's doing with his Reapers. He's got the whole map scouted. He was super worried about what Canary was up to.
Yeah, and Canary is actually not up to anything that crazy. I think what Ceon's doing is actually a little bit weirder than what Canary's doing.
Yeah,
but
that's really funny.
I think Ceon's style is pretty good against Canary, or what he's doing is pretty good against Canary. Like, getting lots of Reapers is going to counter any Reaper cheese, and it's going to provide a lot of scouting so you can tell what the hell this guy's doing. And Canary is going to be able to start in and get a SCV or 2, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty nice. No,
yeah,
just the 1. Oh,
what's the best counter for a Reaper, though, is just another Reaper, right?
It's more Reapers, yeah. Or Hellions, but more Reapers certainly comes earlier, and all Reapers are going to be taken out for Canary. So now Ceon has a pretty big Reaper lead, but I don't think he can do that much with it, because Canary... Oh, he salvaged that bunker, but Canary will have defender's advantage. But, you know, Ceon takes some pretty solid map control, and now can be a bit more confident that it's going to be more difficult for Canary to scout what he's doing, sit back. And I feel like Ceon feels a lot more comfortable playing the macro game, especially with his faster command center.
Yeah, faster command center are going to be, of course, a big thing in this, as these 4 Reapers are making their way into the main, poking around. They're going to meet a Hellion, a Reaper, and 3 Marines as well, losing 1 Reaper almost instantly. They lined up pretty well for that Hellion, but he wasn't able to get the shot off. Now they're going to get out there with their lives at least. He's going to lose 1 more Reaper. Now these 2 Reapers are actually going to get stopped pretty much in their tracks by another Reaper and a Hellion. He wasn't even able to get... Okay, there we go. He got the Hellion kill, but in the end, a nice little engagement for both. I guess Ceonsamea scouting and knowing what he was up against, and Canary going to go ahead and just take out all 4 Reapers. Stim is about to finish up for Ceonsamea, so he's going to have that going for him as well. He does have, of course, his factory down with the tech lab going down on it. Is that a tech lab or a reactor?
That's a reactor, actually.
Yep, and he's got a starport going down as well. So we're going to see where this transitions into. And you know what? I'm not going to make any predictions because both of these players have demonstrated their ability to change and be a little bit diverse. You know, Scan going down for Ceonsamea, so he knows exactly what he's up against.
Yep, and what he's up against is, of course, a little bit of a drop. But, oh my god, is he going to lose that medevac? It does go down full. Not a single unit comes out. That is really big, especially at this early stage of the game. That instantly takes them from having Canary having a slight lead in army supply to Ceon having a really big lead. So that
drop just gave me cancer. Nice. That drop just gave me cancer.
The only way it could have been worse if Ceon had somehow feedback to him. All right.
you just got tossed.
Yeah.
We do have Canary's second commander is going down, and as they're mentioning in Twitch chat, he doesn't really have a care for build orders. But at this point, you can't help but play standard, right? You've lost the advantage of the build order. It's 9 minutes, 15 seconds in the game. You're not going to show Ceonsamea anything he hasn't seen before unless, I don't know, you've gotten like some Ketrock Raven ability that nobody else knows about. And, you know, massive amounts of Marines are about to stream across for Ceon. And I really like this idea because he's like, I just shot down an entire medevac. What do you have? Show me what you got.
Yeah, Ceon has about triple the army supply of Canary. And he's going to move out. Stim's done for Ceon, I believe. Yeah, Stim's done. Combat Shields is going to be finishing up in about 30 seconds. And
this
drop's going to come in, and I think it's going to pick off Combat Shields for Canary. Combat Shields before Stim.
Yeah, if he gets it, if he targets down the tech lab.
Yeah, he should be able to finish that off.
Yeah, he sees it. Really good spot. So if you guys didn't know, when the tech lab is glowing like that and emitting SP and gas, that's how you... So he gets combat shields. No combat shields for Canary, just from short of finishing up. The Marines ravaging the SCV lines now, supported by 2 medevacs, and there's no forces here for Canary. How does he respond to this?
I don't know, he can't. He's got a pull SCVs in. Nice positioning on the Hellions, and he is going to clear this up at the loss of a lot of SCVs.
Ooh, I don't think he's cleared it up.
Is he going to clear this up?
He's not cleared it up.
It's close. It's close. No, I don't think he is. Sion has too many medevacs.
2 medevacs?
Oh,
okay,
then no, siege tank
finally.
Okay,
but he's going to lift up and he's going to go right on top of that? No, he's pulling out of there. Okay, but in the end, yeah, GG. All right, welcome back. We are on Daybreak, of course. This is the second game in this series between our two players here. And, of course, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, it is your purple player currently down 1-0.
All inspiration, Canary.
And his opponent up in the top right-hand corner of Daybreak. It is Orange Terran.
Forged Force Gaming, Ceonsamea.
So we've got a Reaper on the way for Ceonsamea. He's producing another barracks, which lends credibility to my theory that he's doing the same exact thing he did the last game. And of course, Canary is kind of changing things up a bit, and he looks fairly standard.
Yeah, surprisingly so. Suspiciously so, some might say. Alliteratively. And Sion's gonna poke up. Oh, actually, okay, no good. He's gonna keep that Reaper alive. I was worried there for a minute.
What were you thinking? Who loses that Reaper?
Yeah, I don't know. I had so little faith.
We do have Mass Reaper coming from Ceonsamea, though, again.
Yeah.
So what's
Canary,
the best way to counter a cheeser?
I don't know. Widow Mines are gonna be pretty good on Reapers, but I think these Widow Mines are gonna be for drops. So it's whether Sion manages to realize that and sort of if he sees what's coming out of this faction, because it could be Hellions or because we wouldn't have a real way of telling right now. And nice micropools down the injured Reapers. Okay, he sees the Widow Mine. He saw the Widow Mine there, so now he knows what's up. And he knows he has to be really careful with these Reapers. Yeah,
I was saying that what's the best way to cheese a cheeser, as in Canary's the cheeser in this predicament, and Ceonsamea is just like doing his own fair bit of like early, you know what I mean, to just say like you're not going to get away with your shenanigans. We do have these Marines coming out, and I think four Reapers versus this many Marines and a Hellion. I don't know. It depends on the control. Eventually, it's of course going to come down to, and Canary is shoot away back into his main. We do have a medevac on the way for Canary, so once that medevac's out, these Reapers are going to be essentially non-existent. And then we're going to see where Canary is able to take that, because essentially the advantage of Ceonsamea is gone at this point. He's just taken... I mean, what's he really doing right now? He needs... I would expect to see him do drops right now. Of course, he's just lifting up his Marines and bringing them out around. He's still expecting more Reapers, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess he doesn't really want to move out with this drop because it leaves him a bit open to the Reapers, and I think that is a risk he has to consider. Right now, he's producing a Viking, just I think for that extra safety in case there are Banshees on the way, because Canary really has no idea what Sion's been doing. The Reapers deny any kind of scouting other than scanning, and that's something you really don't want to do, especially this early stage in the game. So I think that's what Sion's really goes for with these Reapers, is just having map control, not allowing his opponent to hide any tech, and he's going to go and scout around for proxies and generally have a really good idea what he's playing against, which is nice, especially against a player like that. Yeah,
I really like the strategy, and I think he kind of like tailor-made it for his opponent. I've never really seen it before. Maybe I'm too much of a novice, but I mean, I figured I would have seen something like this before. He's done it twice in a row now, this many Reapers, and he's not necessarily Reaper rushing, he's just using them for map control, and like you said, denying vision and denying pretty much whatever else he wants to do. And I mean, he's going to lose this Reaper here, but at the cost of knowing that now, Canary just has a Viking and some Marines on the way, and for the most part, Canary is kind of shaken up. I don't think he's been able to seize the advantage he normally wants to see, and that scan sees everything.
Yeah, sees the second command center, two orbital commands sort of on the way, one of them actually morphing into an orbital, and the other one just building. There's a drop as well going down at the natural, that small drop for Canary finally made it out, but it is going to get cleaned up. Gets out though with 2 Marines and a Hellion, and of course, all importantly, that medevac. And I don't think it did a whole lot of damage. 3 SCVs killed and a handful of Marines, which is okay. Sion, however, has fallen behind a little in that SCV count, and he'll fall behind even further when Canary starts finishing up this third command center and gets that producing SCVs.
Yeah, so we saw Canary play actually like transition into a macro game, and I think it was a TVZ that he played in. And it turns out that the kid can actually throw down in the macro. Like, don't mess around. The all inspiration, all in builds are what they are, but don't give him time to get back and get his breath. So maybe Ceonsamea's early build that, of course, we're not talking about really any real damage done here. It's just build order wins at this point in time. But, build order wins eventually become wins. And at this point, I think Canary might have been able to at least win that initial meta mind game battle, against Ceonsamea for a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I've got faith in Ceon. I'm sure he can bring him back. He's down a little bit in workers right now, but he does have an army supply advantage, and he's going to be moving out to trying to press that. But what's in his army? It's mainly just Marines. There's not actually even any medevac. No, he's boosting the medevacs out. So yeah, he'll have medevac support. He's got stim done. He'll have combat shields, and this is a similar push to what he did last game, but with the Reapers in it, and I think with a few less Marines. So I don't think it's going to do as much as it did last game. Canary certainly seems much better placed to defend it, but we'll have to see. Have to wait and see.
Yeah, here comes the drop from Ceonsamea and Canary on the other side. Canary's just going to load up with 2 mines and 1 medevac, but we have 2 medevacs with a couple of units coming in. So this is medevac's going to boost in for Canary. He's dropping the 2 medevacs or mines and running away. And then the drop for Ceonsamea coming at the same time as he's prodding the natural. So those widow mines go off and get not much else done. But the drop in the main for Ceonsamea has really proven to be what's the prominent thing in this engagement right now. Hellions coming back, but they're kind of funneling through a little bit of a maze here, not really able to get the best surrounding. You know what? The Marines are getting the best out of this engagement here. Vikings are going to be able to take out the medevacs if they stay for too long, but what else is there to defend against these Marines? It's just SCVs, and at this point, these Marines have gone unimpeded into the main. Now Canary pulling the rest of his army and his SCVs back to finally deal with it, but these Marines have spent themselves and their medevacs lives very well.
Yeah, these Marines have got so much work done. Not only have they killed off a lot of SCVs, they reduced the Hellion count enormously, and they saw this weird sort of 3 factory style that Canary's going for. Saw the TAC lab researching, and with the Hellion count, I think Ceon can deduce that it was going to be some kind of blue flame push, and that's going to be reduced in effectiveness enormously by the fact that Ceon knows it's coming, and by the fact that he killed off so many Hellions just then. He killed off 11 Hellions.
Wow. Yeah,
with
and that
just
was
a handful of Marines.
If you looked at it, Canary had to come through what was essentially a maze of his own supply depots, and like a lot of people like to build their buildings all nice and neat, but sometimes when you doom drop, you don't necessarily want to have nice little neat corridors that your army can walk through and just get siege tanked. And those supply depots ended up being a little bit of a thorn in the side of Canary because he wasn't able to get back and surround. And you know what? He probably just moved those Hellions back, expecting he could defeat it while he microed somewhere else or macroed somewhere else, only to find his Hellions were all dead to Marines. Now these Blue Flame Hellions are going to see if they can get their worth out, but no, the Marines are actually able to push them back, of course, supported from the medevac and the siege tank. So, he's going to need a lot more Hellions than this, and Canary is forced to take back this third orbital command from expanding. Yeah,
with the sort of 4GG style big numbers of Hellions, you really sort of have to have that critical numbers advantage where you start reaching enormous numbers of Hellions that they just start doing tons and tons of splash damage, everything. And Canary, after losing so many in his main to slightly poor positioning from his caused by his Sin City, he really doesn't have that. He's going to try and get on top of the siege tank, but the Marines come into support. The siege tank can keep on firing. Sion has air dominance as well with all these Vikings, and that means his tank just has a longer range, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the air dominance is key in any sort of siege line battle, which is, of course, it's just one siege tank versus one siege tank. But, like, the problem with siege tank battles is the initiative. Like, when you choose to go is so key because the other army's reinforcing, your army's reinforcing, upgrades are coming into play. 1 or 2 tanks can make the difference. And so it's such a delicate balance. And he is actually going to push down and see if he can do something here. He's going to get a surround of these Marines. And now the Blue Flame Hellions are paying dividends. And that's what we were talking about. This push has been coming for some time. And it's just now able to come into effect because the numbers are in his favor. And now, if you look at what Canary's got, he's got a ton of Blue Flame Hellions. And they're about to come across and basically be unimpeded for a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to roast through just about all of the bio. Even Marauders, once they get this around, their splash damage is so powerful. And there's not that much to defend against them. They're going to go down to the third and roast a ton of workers. There's a bunker that they shouldn't be able to get much done, but it doesn't matter when they can just kill off all of these SCVs. And Ceon SCV count's absolutely plummeting right now. Going to come back into towards the natural and probably go into that mineral line there. There's a Banshee that can drive them away, but it can only kill them so fast. And Blue from Hellions are just going to roast all the SCVs.
Yeah, really, jeez. He's still making them pay. You know, these are doing a lot of damage. And you got to think, what would have happened had Canary had those initial... He loses them all now, but the economic damage, for sure. And we see more of them coming across the map. Oh, no, those are SCVs. I was like, what were those doing there? But we see... you know, what would Canary been able to accomplish there had he had the initial Hellions when he lost them?
Battle cruisers.
Battle cruisers. Battle cruisers.
Battle cruisers. Awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the Sky transition, especially against mech. Like, Bio just can't fight against mech, even if Canary's playing like almost especially if Canary's playing that sort of Hellion heavy.
No. No, we're not doing
maybe
it.
after the
Saber
game.
wants us to do a fusion core dance, and we're not doing it.
Oh, I couldn't resist. Anyway, yeah, the air transition as Bio is really nice to pull off, and I think it's best to pull it off earlier than late, but it's difficult to find that sort of timing, especially against the sort of Hellion mech style. Is really weird because, oh, here we go. You just can't fight it. Like, the amount of splash damage it puts out, they get us around and just crush everything. But Ceon is going really heavy on the Marauder count, and I think that is a fantastic answer. And he can fight it. What do I know? There's one Marine even who survived this with 1 kill. And he's the enormous Viking count. He's going to push this away, and he's going to have the air dominance to be able to protect his battle cruisers. Canary's trying to push out Thors, but battle cruisers are really good on Thors, actually.
Yeah, battle cruisers are the you know what I guess in-game unit for Terran. Like, it's the unit, and there's well, GG called. We didn't even have